Namaste, everyone. Thanks for joining this edition of Anaadi Samvada. We'll just start with a small invocation. Just join us with closing your eyes. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you all for joining in. I am as eager as all of you in today's session. This Anaadi Samvada is a series of dialogues hosted by Anaadi Foundation. So this series of Anaadi Samvada is brought to you by Anaadi Foundation. You'll just start. I think there might be a lot of you who will know Anaadi Foundation already, but we'll just start with a quick introduction about Anaadi for those of you who might not have heard about us. Just give me a minute. I think whenever we are ready, there is always a tech problem that comes up. I'm unable to share my screen. I'll just quickly check if there is a way to share it. No issues. I think probably not helping. So we'll just go with it. Anaadi Foundation, I think I would request all of you to go to anaadi.org to look at what we do. Founded in 2015, we are a socio-spiritual organization. Specifically, our area of work is in reviving the Indian knowledge systems in multiple areas. We do it as part of education. We do well-being, sustainability initiatives, and even leadership series. Specifically in education, Anaadi Foundation has established curriculums all over the country. We are now at about 16 curriculums in the country. And all of this is a replacement to traditional schools. So when we talk about curriculum, I think the immediate thing that goes back is what do they learn there? Is it Veda Patashala? These are typical science, math, what we call as IKS STEM curriculums. These are a complete replacement for a modern Macaulay-educated curriculum that we have, right? We are about, like I said, we are about 16 in India. We have 3 outside of India in Texas, 1 in Singapore, 1 in Malaysia. And our Sankalpa is to do 108 Gurukulams in the next couple of years. So all of you are invited to participate in this Sankalpa to achieve that goal that we have put for ourselves. We also have online iGurukulam and STEM platforms for parents who are interested in IKS as a domain and after school program for kids. I would urge all parents to go back and look at stem.anadi.org. That's the platform where you can learn yourselves about what IKS looks like. and also enroll after school courses for your children. Our like all of our Bharatiya parampara, we also believe that Vidya is a dhana. So all of our Gurukulams, if you look at all the 16 Gurukulams, are completely free, run by the community Bharatiya's donation. So all our Gurukulam kids, whoever is studying, it's completely free for them. So I just wanted to give that as a introduction before we start the session for today. Unfortunately, I'm unable to share my screen. I had prepared a couple of slides for Sri Ankurji. But anyway, we'll go with the flow. So Anaadi Samvada, initially just wanted to introduce what we plan to attempt, I think, is a space for just thoughtful conversations around Indic wisdom, going by the concept of jignasa, which is essentially inquiry. And the topic for today is very close to our hearts, all of our hearts, I think, as number one, anybody who's a parent. I keep telling our colleagues in the office that when I used to work in a corporate setup, that as leaders, the first job that we have, we talk about mentoring our teams, we talk about strategy and execution, how to get work done, and we talk about behavior. So much we do to ensure that our teams work well. But we don't have a um, typical playbook that we can operate as parents, and what that means for each of us, right? So it's very close to our heart, parenting. I'm very happy to have and invite Sri Ankur Joshi ji. Welcome, Ankur Joshi. Ankur Joshi ji has is an author. He has written a book called Shastriya Parenting. If you all of you have not seen it, it's available in Amazon and Flipkart. It's a well-researched book. He's a researcher in this field. He has done a research on Gurukulams in India specifically, and he currently is a faculty member at the Bhanastali University. I would probably let Ankurji talk about his initial, how he got into it, what made him um, invest his time in Gurukulas. Maybe I'll start with that question, Ankurji. Um, so I think I think what we would want to hear about it. I think all of us as parents, concerned parents, of course. The first is what would I mean? I'm sure that you would have gone through your own personal experience of parenting and seeing other kids as well, and you've invested time in knowing what the background of parenting and Gurukulam system, how it operated, etc. So, what made you get into it, and is there any personal journey that you went through, Ankurji?
Yeah, Nigamanth, thank you so much. And thank you to Adinarayanji and Smriti ji and a whole team of Anadi for this wonderful event that you have planned. And thanks to all the people who have joined. So taking out time and listening. So thank you so much. Very important role of all the listeners and Shrotagan that the speakers can speak. So thank you so much for joining. Yeah. So, very important thing. I think you have already stated that as a parent, it's a very crucial question about how part. So, how to proceed with this concept of parenting? Um, uh, Today, we need to focus on this very consciously because when we see a lot of parents outside, a lot of kids outside, um, doctors, psychologists, and the pediatrician, gynecologist. Many parents and kids are going for counseling for psychological counseling. Psychiatrists are suggesting heavy medications to young kids, parents, mothers, fathers, and so it's a very typical problem outside. So this became very much problematic, especially after the lockdowns in the COVID era and the COVID vaccine. So before that also it was there, but it has scaled up like anything. So my journey into this started when I was not married even at that time, and my cousin, who is about so my uh, bua's daughter, so she is about 10-15 years younger to me, maybe around 18 or so. So one day, all people were seated, and I just asked him that you want to hear the story of how Hanumanji went to Lanka and all those things. He said, so she stopped me there. No, no, I don't want to listen. I said, okay, it's your choice. And then after a few minutes, we were at the first floor just wandering, and she was with me. Then she said, Bhaiya, you were reciting some story. I want to hear that. I want to listen it. Then I asked her that when all people were seated, all the family members were there, you didn't want to listen. Now, suddenly, what happened? Then she said, I am interested, but I don't want to get bracketed into something which is related to ancient wisdom. It's my personal interest, but I am not able to share it amongst my family members. So that was one thing which was in my mind for a longer time. Then I got married, and my wife is from biology field. She understands the human biology, etc. And I coming from this Gurukul and ancient tradition, etc. So we used to discuss a lot of things very freely, and so many things which we came to know about the human body, a female's body, a male's body, and what happens after this pregnancy, etc. What happens during those things. So fortunately, we both had a understanding from different perspectives about the parenting, about the childhood, about the biology, about the psychology, and we could I have a mentor, Dr. Sandeep Atreji, who has written forward in this, so he comes from a psychology background. So fortunately, we had few people who with whom we had a lot of discussion on these issues, and so we had this synthesis of ideas which are there in the contemporary traditions as well as the
अंशुल,
ancient
वो कहाँ है
traditions.
वो कहाँ से वाला हमारा?
I would request all participants to just be on mute, please.
So those discussions helped us a lot, and after our child was born, and today, so we went through those processes, and we saw that it is very difficult for people who are not initiated into this. Nobody teaches about parenting in schools and colleges, and that is very important part of the life. Nobody talks about marriages. Nobody talks about how to proceed in marriages, how to solve the problems that happen in the marriages, and once the child is there, so what are the things that goes through the child in terms of biological aspects as well as the psychological aspects. So this was the thing, and then my professor guide, Professor Rajan Gupta at MDI, so he's now retired. So I was just mentioning to him that I am we are parenting our kid in this manner. So he suggested that why don't you write about it? So I told him that, sir, I don't know anything about parenting as in scientific concept, etc. He said, whatever is your understanding based on your experience, please start writing it. So it came out, and so it was a very conversational, not jargon, free, not too many jargons, and then therefore this book came up. So so this is how
Interest,
this I entered into this domain.
interesting. Interesting that you mentioned a point on having counselors or early mental issues, Ankurji. I've recently heard from one of my friend's kids who goes to a chess academy, and it's pretty big in Chennai. They actually employ, and I mean, it has about 1,000 odd participants and students who go to that academy. They have 12 counselors on rolls to counsel the children at a frequent basis, because when they enter competition, it becomes even more hectic for children, and for them to adopt to this competitive life, I think they find it as a struggle, and hence they have counselors on roll. So I'm sure, um, it is very true that mental health for children is also one of the critical things that is a topic. Interesting. So I just wanted to maybe start with some. I'll open it out for some comments from parents. So I wanted to start with saying that, hey, what are the concerns that parents have today? And maybe start with that as the opener. Um, and collected some from my colleagues and friends and neighbors here, and they keep talking about this. So I mean, any parent who are concerned, if you want to put it down in your chat window, what is the biggest concern with your child today? That's the question. If you want to put down a word, one word, if you have to describe it in one word, what would you put? So you can just put it on your chat window. So I just collected some of the words that I'll just read out here. Screen time is one of them. Second, attention is the second thing which came up. Third thing that came up was always very adamant. How do I do that? Second, not interested in many things that we want him to be interested in. So generally disinterest. These are the four things which came. I am just going to read out some things. You can probably look at the chat window as well. There are some things which has come in. Um, Foreign media consumption with Western values, of course. If you're outside India, that's another big thing. And even in India, I think there are places where you might not want children to wade into. So complacency about our culture and tradition, again, that is another comment which has come. Right. So I think generally, I think lack of cultural grounding. If I can maybe sum up a couple of things that are there, I think those are the comments as well which are coming. So I think the concerns are always pretty similar. And in this age, like you said, Ankurji, these are the things. If these are the things that parents are generally concerned about, is there a theme that you see as well in what the concerns of the parents are? In through your research as well and through your interactions, any thoughts on that?
Yes, yes. So, very true. The points that you mentioned, as well as the points that are shared by the participants in the chat box. So, I think these were the same concerns that I am trying to address by working along with parents, with teachers, etc. So, first thing is, many parents see those problems as something very typical with their kids only. So, first thing is, in this group itself, you can see, so this is a common problem. It is like a pandemic, it is an epidemic, and not just in our country, it's same across the world with this screens in their hand. Second thing is, even before the screens which were there, so every parent had similar or some or the other dissatisfaction with their parents. Even when there were no technology, no computers, that time also we had similar problems. So for that, I'll take you to the case of Dhritarashtra. So Duryodhan and his brothers. So Dhritarashtra and Gandhari, they were also facing similar problem. So
Mhm.
this problem of the parents not parents facing such problem has been there since the world has started. We know the how the Panchatantra stories originated when the king's son were not able to study and he was getting frustrated how to teach them. They are not able to concentrate, they are not able to study. And then king ordered that whosoever is able to do it, I will be able to facilitate him with so many things. And then Vishnu Sharma ji came up with the Panchatantra stories. So stories as a form of teaching. So first thing is that all the parents and future parents, um, we should not be so much depressed, frustrated, and troubled. This that something unique is happening with us, something unprecedented is happening with us, because lot of time on social media we see that all the problems are projected as a very very severe and high level problems, and that this is happening for the first time in history, especially this American mentality that everything happens for the first time in history. In their history of 250 years, for them everything is happening for the first time. So first of all, something good is not happening for the first time, something bad is not happening for the first time. That will give the grounding that yes, things are possible and nothing is too extreme. So first thing is that basis, some grounding is required, otherwise it will be a problem. Second thing is, I'm sharing because not everybody might be able to concentrate for next 1 hour in an online medium, it is very difficult. So I'm sharing a very simple point which, if done, can address 50% of the problems with respect to parenting. When you have a kid of any age, if you can just give up this expectation that your home should be always in a proper aesthetically arranged manner. If the sofa set is disturbed, if the child has thrown water on the table or on the bed, anything, see what is the cost of those things. A bed is 1,000 rupees. A gadda is of 500. So if everything is scattered in the home and if your phone is away from the screen, take it. If you have to buy as many as toys, so my most of the expenditure of my child is on the toys that he buys and the things that he throws away at home. And he is about 5 years and he is almost away from the screen. Hardly 1% of the time he takes the phone. Otherwise, whatever he does, he throws water in the home, in the drawing room, in the bedroom, watercolors everywhere, full on his clothes, etc. So it's always good to invest on such things instead of keeping our home neat and tidy. So if we can give away this desire, this expectation to keep our home neat and tidy for 5, 6 years, then the child will be safe from screens. Because this throwing away colors, throwing away items, etc., this gives them the dopamine which is needed. If I talk in terms of technical terms, jargon terms, it is required for them to live. When we try to put them into bracket, in we are already in a closed compartments of home, mostly in the urban cities, etc. Our homes are isolated, just all four brick walled. So people who are living in an open environment, for them it is slightly easy, but in a closed environment of four walls, what option will have the child to go if the phone or screen is handed over to him? And your home will be very neat and tidy. So I said to me and my wife, we discussed that let him do for 3, 4 years, 5 years at max. So that is cost of saving him from screen. So these are very few fundamental points which appear to be very simple, but if practiced, can give you a lot of things by saving them from this media, screens, etc. Third point is when I talk to most of the parents, 90% of the parents have told that their kid won't consume food, would not take lunch, dinner without the screen. So a simple thing can be done. If he or she does not take a once or twice meal, don't let eat with the screen. So decoupling the screen with the food, because sometimes many biologists tell that the food requirement of child is very less as compared to what we think the food requirement of a child is, and because of which most of our babies are getting obese. So a child will never remain hungry. Child will never remain hungry, even if you can offer phones, etc. So if you will not offer phones, etc., child will not remain hungry. This is the fundamental thing that people can know. So this is one point. Then there was a point about the spiritual aspects. So we'll come to it slowly, gradually to that. Then attention. Now this is a disastrous word, ADHD. It has been fed into our lives that almost every second parent thinks that their child is suffering from ADHD. This itself is a disease, that nothing is attention deficit disorder. So child are designed in a manner that they will shift from one thing to another. And I would recommend, so I would not recommend my book, but I would recommend a book by Dr. Sandeep Atre, which is titled as Understanding Emotions Logically. So it's a very very simple book. People from non psychology background can also understand it. And he shares a very important point, that our brain is wired from evolutionary side to keep scanning the environment, because we have been in an environment where from outside world we will be threatened by the predators. So our brain has a default thing to keep scanning the environment, and whenever we will try to focus, it will try to deviate us from it. So to keep scanning from the environment is very much important. Yeah, so the book name is Understanding Emotions Logically. So he shares that how it is important. So the child has to hop from one thing to another, and it is important for the evolutionary growth of that child. So, for understand from a child's perspective, suppose we are in a room and suddenly someone puts a blindfold on our eyes and close our ears and puts us into some suddenly a new room where we don't know anything. So we will be wondering, we will be looking here and there, trying to gauge the environment. What is it? So child is also new to this world, maybe 2, 3 years, 4 years only, and every new thing is coming up in front of him every time. So how can he focus? How can he be very attentive? It is natural for him to divert his attention from one point to another, because every new thing is coming in front of him. So that has to be accepted, that it is natural, it is not problematic. And if you feel that it's a problem, then the answer is in the seven chakras that we have, Sat chakra. And the base chakra, which is called as Muladhar chakra, that is the foundation chakra, that can provide the stability which is needed. And for that, child needs the exposure of all the five elements of the nature. So what is happening today is that we are so much concerned about the exposure to the society, to socialization, to learn social skills, to meet people, etc. That exposure is not needed till age 5. What exposure is really needed is the exposure to five elements, that is Prithvi, Jal, Agni, Vayu, and Akash. That is earth, fire, water, air, and sky. So they need the exposure to these five dimensions, like walking on grass, barefoot, playing
Right.
with mud, playing with soil, playing with all the natural elements which are there. Yeah, so after five, I'll come to that. So I'll just come to that question after five. So at least till five, all the exposure to the sunlight, to an open sky, this provides the grounding which is needed for the child. And they will be very calm and composed if they play for at least 3 4 hours in mud, soil, etc. So this I learned from my colleague who had a child about 4 5 years. This is 10 years ago when I was not married. So he used to take him to the play field and let him play for 4 hours. So I asked him, his name is Dr. Pavan. So I asked Pavanji, why do you do this? He said, I allow him to play for 4 hours. He gets completely exhausted. He is fully utilized his all the energy that he has within. The child is bubbling with the energy, and we are not providing that space to channelize his energy by playing, etc. So he said, I allow him to play for 3 4 hours in mud, soil, he falls down, etc. He comes home, he's extremely hungry, he takes food and then goes to sleep, and I don't know when he gets to sleep. So today's what happens in our home environment in most of the families, we are completely disconnected with these five elements of nature, and we are wearing sleepers, which is rubber sleepers every time. We have no sunlight, no air, and this is becoming a problem. So we blame child that you are not interested, while most of us, the parents who are there, we have lived through those five elements of nature which provide the grounding to the Muladhara chakra. So this is another thing if which can be done, it will allow. I understand that in many houses the earth, soil, mud, etc. is not possible, but we can always provide the facility to be seated in a bathtub. So allow the child to be seated in a bathtub for half an hour, 1 hour, whatever time it is possible. So that will give him the grounding. So that is another way. We have
Interesting.
our kitchens. So many children, allow them, give some like the flour which is prepared as the atta that we have. So giving them atta and then they'll keep playing for that hour. So all these different textures, different touch, that will slowly give them the grounding which is required. And so that is another thing that we can take it. Yeah.
Very
So
interesting.
spiritual
Very
point,
interesting.
I will come. Yeah.
Very interesting. And I think these are practical points, both of all the three that you have addressed at least. One, don't keep your house, don't have a compulsion to keep your houses clean, and make them work with all the five elements. I think I take away those two as at least as the key things. Very interestingly, I got associated to Anadi about a year back. Thankfully, because they started a school in Chennai, and I got the opportunity to put both my sons there. And specifically, I just wanted to touch upon the 2 points that you added, G. One, ADHD. And this, I think, even as us as parents, we were wondering, hey, why is the attention span lesser? And like you're saying, kid is designed that way. And the other thing that we saw is the curriculum that is designed in an Adi curriculum has two, three key aspects to it. One, even in a day school, the kids do 1 hour of chanting, and the chanting is not necessarily just shlokas. It can be Ganita, which is Leelavati by Bhaskaracharya. It can be Ashtanga Hridayam, which is essentially the source text that they are leading. Right? So it is mathematics in Sanskritam. It is science in Sanskritam that they are learning. And chanting has a big effect on just attention, and they are able to concentrate. And so when a class starts, every class that they get into starts with chanting as the first component to it. So the first 10 minutes is the chanting, which ensures that all of the pupils in the class, kind of concentrate on what the acharya is going to come and talk about next. Second, which I've observed again, Ji, is when my son used to come back from school earlier, he used to come back very tired. And I think he'll probably just do something and go to sleep and would want screen time always. Here in this school, compulsorily no slippers, like you're saying. I think that grounding effect has a big impact. And they go through 1 hour of yoga as well. So this is the curriculum. So 1 hour of chanting, 1 hour of yoga, and 1 hour of krishi, which essentially is uh, playing with the mud. And so they have a garden where they tender to. This is all in a day school in a day Gurukulam in a small Chennai setup. So that's what they are able to do it here. But it still has a big impact, right? I can see the energy levels when my son comes back is very clear. And earlier he used to come back tired, and then he just wants to go to sleep. Whereas now he has the energy to come back and do something productive after the end of the day from school as well. So I think all of this firsthand, I was able to see as well. Good that you touched upon this. Ji. So, one key question then all of this leads us to Ji. One, of course, you have addressed the practical aspects of it, I would put it that way. Uh, and your book is titled catchily enough to call it Shastriya Parenting. So let's maybe start with. I mean, I know that Indic wisdom cannot be combined into one framework, but what would you define in your mind as Shastriya parenting, and what would that look like, or how do you define that framework for us parents?
Yeah. So thank you. So what is Shastri parenting is I learned from a very single shlok and very powerful one, which many of us might have heard about it. And there will be the answer to that 5 years question also be you asked about it. So the shlok says, first I will say in Sanskrit and then translate it. The shlok says, Lalayet panchavarshani ताडयेत दश वर्षाणि प्राप्ते तु षोडशे वर्षे मित्रवत आचरेत. So that is lalayet panchavarshani, that for the first 5 years the child should be treated in a very calm, gentle manner, just like if he or she is a prince or princess. So that is lalayet panchavarshani. So first 5 years. Then next 10 years is Tadan. Tadan is like fine tuning. So disciplining, tuning. And when I mention about disciplining and tuning, it is not about beating, yelling, etc. So it's fine tuning. So just like we have a transistor or a radio, we need to fine tune it to certain frequencies. Similar is the next 10 years, wherein a proper discipline, a routine has to be followed as to what has to be done. So I'll describe more about this phase in coming time. And then it says prapte tu shodashe varshe mitravat acharet, which means that after the end of 15th year, that is on reaching the 16th year, now the child should be treated in a friendly manner. So mitravat. So it is like a friend. It is not friend. So clarification is needed because it is friend and like friend. It is very different. So it is about that acknowledging that the child has become mature. Child has now graduated. That person also has an agency. My wife talks about this word agency very much. So I had learned from her. So that child also has this agency now. And if we try to interfere too much, that will be disastrous. So coming to these first 5 years is like very deep emotional care, not coming too much hard on discipline, not treating everything, because it will slowly graduate, and huge patience is required in this phase. And when we see this as a patience, it is not something to be like charity we are doing towards the kid. It is about the nascent stage wherein the child has to be taken due care. One doctor mentioned to me that she has a lot of and children's coming for the psychological disorders to her, and she says that I asked them a question, that what is the amount of time mother and father spend with their kids. So till the age of 5, the child needs huge amount of time with the parents. Imagine 9 years the child was in the womb of mother, and suddenly he or she has spent about 6 months outside, and then the child is not getting the presence of mother. So 9 months he was inside mother, and when comes outside after 6 months, he is not able to find the mother, or she is not able to find the mother. So the physical presence of father and mother is very much required. Now, when my child was born, so my wife is not working, and I also took leave for about 8 months, and out of which 6 months were on without pay. So many women these days don't take maternity leave. And more than that, I, as a father, I took without pay leave. I am very grateful to my university and my dean who gave this permission. So because of that, the bonding that is possible now, it is very easy to sense the child. It requires observation, and it is so important, the physical presence, the physical touch. Now, today, what is the whole problem is because of both parents are working corporate time, they are not able to give that time to the child. So that vacuum is creating a huge trouble. And at that time, now today, in the name of socialization and all those things, I am very careful while mentioning these words that we are throwing away our kids into schools at the age of 2, 2.5, and 3, which is not the right age to send them to schools, even nursery schools, etc. They need the constant physical presence, emotional presence, full attention of parents till age of 5. If both, it's best. If not both, at least one of them should be there in a uh, maybe shift or in some or the manner. So this comes from that 5 years, first 5 years. Then the next 10 years is about like giving the direction. So when
Meditation.
uh, allowing them to move, but whenever they go, they drift, bringing them on the right track. So it is not that we are the drivers of their life. So the problem, what is comes that I think Nigamanth, you mentioned about some questions about enjoyment and restrictions, etc. So today, one professor told me, Professor Maheshwari, that we talk about helicopter parenting. So wherever the child is, they will enter. They would want to define the life of their kids. That is disastrous. And another extreme is they want to give them full freedom, full liberation. That is also disastrous. So there is a balance in this shlok that for first 5 years it's complete freedom, emotional care, etc. Next 10 years it's fine tuning, and let the child get shaped and not. So just check it. We need some checks and balances that if it is uh, going in the right direction or not. And one interesting analogy, I am an engineer by education. So once I was reading a research paper wherein some scientists they suggested that we spent too much of time in computer machines to correct, to ensure that the errors don't happen in the system. But a better technique is to allow the errors to happen and then manage it. So it can save the time. So same thing can be applied here also. So out of 100 units of indiscipline acts or something that we don't like about our kids, if we can apply our wisdom, that 90 of them are just to be let go. They are to be forgotten. So you need not win each and every battle. So keep focus on the war. So I say to my wife many times that don't focus on those battles. If you can lose those battles and look at the larger picture, that will be very beneficial. So this is about this Shastri parenting is about those ideas of how to uh, give that sattvic sanskars in the child. And coming to this one question that you shared, it was a very important question. I think that what if our child has only sattvic samskar? So what will happen? So um, it requires a better understanding of these three gunas, that is sattva, rajas, and tamas. So sattva is not inferior. Sattva is not something which can be swayed away. Something which is brittle. So tamas is lethargy. So tamas is inertia. It is absence of action. Rajas is action, but tamas can be won over by rajas. And to win rajas, you need sattva. So sattva is above rajas and tamas. So anybody who is able to reach to that state will be able to take care of everything. So we need not to do helicopter parenting once that sattva is like enlightenment, sattva is like brightness, and then the wisdom will flow to that child. The child will be able to take decision. We will not have to take decision for him or her, and this will gradually come to a word which is very common, which is called as productive struggling. I read the very important word, productive struggling. So in our country, I don't know much about West and other countries, but in our country, this phrase is very, very common, that whatever troubles we have seen in our life, we don't want our kids to face those problems. This is a disastrous thing that has happened to ourselves. Those troubles and problems have made who you are. And if you will not allow your kids to go through those troubles and problems, how will be they graduating to that level? So in Hindi it is said like कि जो समस्या हमने झेली हम अपने बच्चों को नहीं देना चाहते. And that is where most of the parents fail. Allow your kids to go through that process. Allow your kids, huh? That is, of course, we were in an extreme, many parents in their age might be in an extreme state of poverty or hunger. So I'm not talking about those things, but at least allow them to struggle in a productive manner. Let them learn. Don't spoon feed each and everything. And this can solve a lot of problem. This again has a potential to solve a lot of problems. So I am connecting. So when the child is given that sattvic orientation, that will automatically give him or her the strength that is required to understand, to decide. Let them fail also. So today, in I think in our country, till class 8 nobody can fail. So we have forgotten. So kids don't know how, they don't have any experience of getting failed in life in early phases. So not allowing them to fall down on land, not allowing them to fall in school, not allowing them to fail in any exam in early phases of life. So they have no experience of what a fail means. So everything it is like becoming Bhagwan Buddha, who was Siddharth, and his father wanted to not let him see any of the atrocities of the world. So either we will have so many enlightened Buddhas around us after a few years, but which is a rare process. So it's all, so it's very basic. So in my Shastri parenting is very basic thing, very basic thing. We just need to look at what were some basic points to be done at that time.
Very nice, Ji. And I think this that you talked about, where you mold the kid from 5 to 16. uh, at least personally for me, and I'm sure the other parents will agree as well, that is probably also the key time for us to invest, so that the output comes right as well. And you talked about, uh, you know, uh, let them go through the difficulties that you have gone through. I just recollect some verse that I read about. I think there is one famous Sanskrit Subhashita which talks about Panchalakshana, Vidyarthi Panchalakshana, which talks about something very specific to Kakacheshta Bhakodhyanam, Swana Nidra Tataivacha, Alpahari and Grihatyagi. So, Vidyarthi, which is a student, is expected to uh, do be an alpahari, which is essentially eat half, or alpahari is essentially be light on having cravings to eat, and also grihatyagi. And in this context, I'm assuming they talk about not only griha as in home, but also comforts. So, uh, unless you give out comforts, how can you learn anything? I think is the wisdom that our forefathers have left out. I saw a very similar verse in Viduraniti as well, which talks about um, Vidyarthinaha Nasti Sukham. I don't remember the exact one, G. Maybe if I'm right, I think it means something like this. Vidyarthinaha Nasti Sukham. Um, uh,
Sukartina kuto vidya.
yeah, Siddharthana Kutovidya. So essentially, thanks. So without, I mean, if you want to learn something, you'll have to leave out comforts is the meaning that comes out there as well. Very, very interesting. So, uh, uh, in your view, G, let's take this phase maybe as a slight drill down for our next question. Uh, so, in this phase, if you have to say, hey, these are the 4 or 5 things I will invest in my children. Let's say, I mean, if there are 3 things that you want to talk about, what would those top things that you want parents to invest in this phase?
Yes, so a very nice question. And then, meanwhile, when you were synthesizing these things, so I have gone through the questions. So I will be answering those questions in these 5 points also. So not directly referring to the question, but you will get the answers to the questions which are put in the chat box. So first thing, this is a very wide known story. Many of you might have heard that one mother goes to a sadhu, that the sadhu, my child eats a lot of sugar. Please tell him that to stop the sugar because he respects you a lot. So sadhu said, okay, come after 1 month. She said, okay. And when after 1 month, the the sadhu says, oh child, please don't consume sweets. Then mother gets angry. If you had to give just only this sentence, you could have said it 1 month ago only. Why are you saying it now? So the sadhu says that I also consume a lot of sugar. So, first, to tell your child, I myself stopped consuming sugar so that my words can carry a weightage. So, when we talk about leading by example in corporate, it is very common leading by example. We have a very beautiful word which is called as acharya, which is used for teachers in Gurukul. That acharya is a person who teaches by acharan. Acharan is things which he or she has practiced at own level. So first thing is the first and foremost important point is this, that parents own conduct has to be in that direction. Many parents, many of you might have observed, I'm not blaming anybody, but if your screen time is less, there are very, very high chances there that the screen time of your child will also be less. So, I myself, as I mentioned, that I don't allow my kid to use phone. So, similar is with myself. So, I would very, very be very cautious while using the screen at that time. And it does not happen a day. So for last 15 or odd years, I have not watched television. I have not been to theaters. So that can, and because of which many times we don't need to speak. It just get expressed. It enters into the deep psyche of the child. So one thing is that about the achara. Second thing is about the deep from where the spiritual dimension enter into the space, that we have about this concept of pitri lok, pitrigan, our ancestors, tarpan, shraddh. Most of these things are getting evaporated from our families. And so, before orienting the child on any cultural or spiritual dimension, if we start to focus on this ideas of our Gaya Shad, the Pind Dan, Tarpan, etc., because that is connected to the ancestry, and that has deep connection with our progeny, which is coming in the
లేదు ఏదో ఒకటి వచ్చిందే గ్రూప్ వేస్తే కదా క్రేజీలో అది
so so it is about that dimension. So focus on that would be very important. Then third thing is about having a niyam or a vrat or a single element in the life. So even in the phase of 0 to 5, if child is doing some kind of indiscipline, then it is not that you need not tell that child that what is right and wrong, but what is the way in which we teach it. So at that time, without getting angry, in very calm and composed manner, narrating stories, etc. So I can tell one very important example here. So my child does not consume this packaged food, etc. But when he was about 2.5, somehow he got caught of some packaged drink, this fruit drink. So someone gave it to him. He said, I want to drink it. I said, first listen to this story and then we will decide what to do. Then I took him to play. Okay, first we will run for 100 meters. So we ran. So that provided the dopamine. So while running, when children run, they are happy. And suddenly, then I said, Mary, now listen to my point. He said, when I told him that when I was a child, someone gave me this type of a drink, and by mistake, it got fall down on the land, and there was a lizard in it, so I never drink it. Within few seconds, he just threw it in the dustbin. So having some sort of discipline, routine by love, care by stories, they they get to this point very quickly and very easily. And connected to this is that the child associates with the external things like whatever food, etc. Suppose this is an edible item, and I tell him, oh, take it, consume it, what tasty. So child associates the tasty with the words that our expression. So suppose, for example, in one family, non-veg is consumed and in another family, non-veg is not consumed. So how that child was oriented, whether this is an edible item or not an edible item. So because parent, when they offered it for the first time, made this face, very tasty, very tasty. So that association of something very tasty is the orientation. So what kind of orientation we do through the child? So we have oriented my child to see any packaged item has to be thrown into dustbin. I said, Echi, dustbin. So now today he has a mentality that any packaged food item is chi and it has to be thrown away. So it is about what kind of orientation that we provide to that child. And fourth point is extremely important for people who are troubled by the schools. And I know what dangerous things schools are doing to the kids. So our scriptures say that Acharya is there, then father is 10 times more important than Acharya, and then mother is 100 times more important than Acharya. So Bhagwan Ram when tells to Kaushalya Mata that I am going for exile because it has been ordered by my father, King Dashrath. So first thing Kaushalya Mata says, it was an order of your father. I, being your mother, can reverse it. So I order you not to go. Then Bhagwan Ram says, "Oh, mother, this order was given by father on the suggestions of Mata Kekri." Then Kaushalya Mata says, "Okay, then you will have to go." So it was very, very clear that Mata is Pratham Guru, and we will have to bring that back into our system. This all Western ideas of feminism, etc., will not bring the change. This in the family is that Mata is the Pratham Guru, and then father, and then Acharya. So teacher in the school comes a lot. But as of now, we have completely reversed it. For a child, the words of teacher are final. Then father, and then mother. So we have completely reversed it. So this indoctrination that doctors are Bhagwan, teachers are Bhagwan, they were in the Gurukul system with those tapasvis and rishis who were of that category who could be called as Bhagwan. Today's teachers, I myself being in a teaching profession, I know that none of my colleagues is of that category who can be called Bhagwan. None of the doctors are in that category that can be treated as Bhagwan. Better to tell the kids that they are also human beings, emotional beings, they can make mistakes, so that we reduce our moral compass. We are talking to our kids on a very, very high moral compass. So that can be toned down so that they also feel that, oh, yeah, we are like equals. So that is the fourth point. And fifth is, which I am using it more and more, the stories. So many uh, stories you should, as a parent, you should read. So my child, for last 5 years, when we go to bedtime, I have not repeated a single story. So I have a large pool of stories in my head, which I continuously read. So keep on reading so many stories. And so whenever he asks any question, I respond in story. Whenever there is any problem which I need to address, any discipline issue, anything, so I respond with a story. And today also, I will end my part with the story of Dhritarashtra and Kunti. So we know these two parents. So Dhritarashtra, we see it is a very troubled father because he had a very troubled child. But his children, all the 100, they enjoyed all the luxuries throughout their life. They enjoyed. And Kunti's sons, they were in exile, they were facing Lakshagra, they were in Agyatwas. And then what Kunti says to Bhagwan Krishna is very important. This was told by Shankaracharya ji of Puri, that you will not find a lady like Kunti who says to Bhagwan Krishna, "Hey Bhagwan Krishna, please ensure that there are huge troubles in life of my kids and myself, because whenever there will be troubles, you will be with us. So I don't want any kind of pleasures and luxuries in my life. I want more and more troubles in my life so that you will be here. And as soon as those troubles will go away, you will also go away." And that happened when Rajsuya Yagya happened of Yudhishthir, then Krishna Bhagwan went away. So that is about, so many stories will easily guide us on the right path. So I conclude my point on this. You are on mute, Nigamanth.
Apologies. Yeah, I think very beautifully told, especially the point on stories. I think resonated really well. I'm assuming that it would have resonated with all of the parents. I think we still remember our grandparents' stories. I think that's what our kids will remember as well as they grow up. And I think it is a strong samskar that comes with us. I think as you grow old, it travels with you as well. I think there is a question on what storybooks. I mean, Amar Chitrakatha is a wealth. I also very strongly recommend Ramakrishna Mission storybooks. They have a nice comic series that they have printed. There are a lot. I think there are about 30 books, if I'm not wrong, and these are short, really short stories. Each book could probably carry about 10, so you have 300 stories right with you. I don't know if Ankurji wants to share some of the books that he uses. Ankurji, please go ahead.
Yeah, so the I generally refer to the stories from our Puranas. So very various Puran are there, any Shiv Puran, Bhagavad Puran, and Gita Press Gorakhpur has published a lot of books which are small short story books. And the best part of those things is that they are in a very very simple language. So if any parent is not oriented into Sanskrit or any deeper aspects of those things, so they are very very simple. And second thing is they are very they are very very low price, very very easily available and available online for mostly for free also. So Gita Press, Gorakhpur, they have those books. Someone has asked to repeat it. And any Puran, Shiva Puran, Bhagavad Puran, Vayu Puran, Devi Bhagavad Puran, whichever form of Bhagwan you associate more, you would enjoy more. So if you like Bhagwan Krishna, go for Bhagavatam. If you like Devi Ma, go for Devi Bhagavat. If you like Bhagwan Shiv, go for Shiv Puran, Vayu Puran. So there are many things. And of course, yes, Swami Vivekanand books are there. So many story books are available. And if you can connect, see, to the stories, to the geographical area you belong to, uh, those stories from your mother tongue, from folklore in that region, that will be very 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 useful. So many folklore, folk wisdom, folk song. And one request is that don't wait for any kind of logic or reason in those stories, because they are meant to take you beyond logic and reason. Our infatuation with this logic, science, and reason in everything is taking a heavy toll of our emotional nurturing. So those stories are just to be relished, to enjoyed, and not to just find meanings and scientific explanation of each and everything. So enjoy those analogies, metaphors, because that gives the child that space, the creativity and imagination. So I don't want to go uh, into depth of those because of so many ideas will be there on a single day. So that we can discuss some other time.
For sure, for sure. I think we are on top of time. So just I'll probably share one observation from my own personal experience that G had shared that I mean there needs to be some achara at home, some niyamanam, some puja that you do, some orientation. What happened was when we put our elder son in the school run by Anaadi, they just as part of the curriculum, they said, Vidyut, there is something called Dinacharya that you have to follow. And what does the Dinacharya say? What does Ashtanga Hridayam say? That you have to wake up at 5 o'clock, 5 whatever, the two muhurtas before the sunrise. So generally about 4:30 to 5:30, this is the wake up time. You do something called Abhyangam. Why do you need to do Abhyangam? So that you, cleanse your body, etc. And then you brush your teeth with Ayurveda podi, or whatever the powders that are there prescribed, etc. And they gave a very detailed view of how a day should look like and why it is important for your own body. And interestingly enough, I never imagined myself. I was in an IT career before this. I used to always have, like any IT engineer, back pains and wake up late and sleep late, etc. The entire family now wakes up at 5 o'clock and does the entire dinacharya. We have a small puja that we do before the kids leave for school, and when the kids come back, like Ankurji was sharing. Both of them are very extremely interested in stories, and there is a storytelling session specifically in the school as well, which is called Parampara, which is from the Puranas. But we also have storytelling as part of our daily ritual when we go to sleep, and these I think has had very very positive impact not only for the kids. And we are talking about Shastriya parenting. I think it has a great impact on ourselves and our outlook of life. And we used to be very stressed, typical IT carriers, but I think our general outlook has pretty much changed to very positive. And I think I would urge all parents here to maybe pick up one or two things that Ankurji shared that you can implement in your life. Pick up one or two, try it out. I think it makes a really, really positive impact. Um, I'll probably just open it out to questions. Maybe Ankurji, if you're okay, we can maybe do uh,
Yeah, there
one
were two
question, one or two.
questions. I think
Yeah, we can
one or
maybe
two
answer
questions
them.
which were not answered. So I'll just answer those questions. Someone has posted it again.
Yeah.
So one was on the about the guilt. What if parents are in a guilt that they are not able to give time? So one thing is, as I mentioned at the start only, please don't be burdened with this idea of that parenting is a huge toll on yourself and all. You have to be a perfect parent. So that is the whole idea is not here to bring any kind of perfection in parenting. So don't take any kind of guilt that you are not able to bring time. So incremental change. So suppose if you are not able to give time, maybe you can start with 3 minutes. Maybe you can start with just 5 minutes a day and ensure that those 5 minutes are like 5 hours for the child. So it is not the quantity which matters, it is the deep emotional feeling. So even if a person is for 5 hours and not emotionally connected, it is not good, while 5 minutes of deep emotional connection will be good. So full attention for 5 minutes, you can start with 5 minutes. I think 5 minutes is feasible. Then you can slowly go for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, so whatever is possible. So please don't be in any kind of guilt. And second thing, someone asked about if they have two kids and partiality of one. So a lot of young kids, if you see in the villages, so the 6 year old would take care of all the younger ones. So if you have one kid of six and another of three, then give the whole responsibility of that 3 year old child on that 6 year old child, and that child will grow like anything. And that I can 100% share from many, many kids who are elder, and they take a far better care of their younger ones when they are trusted. They will make mistakes, of course. So, but they would do it. And so instead of when you will say that, oh, you are elder son or a daughter and you need to take care of the younger one, they will rebel. So give it, the succession planning should happen very naturally, and tell to the younger one that he is your elder brother, now you take care, he or she will take care of you. Then that reverse psychology will work. My mother was telling me one day that in uh, olden times, any person who has any person who is the youngest brother, youngest sibling, the parents would not even take his or her name. And for all the others, younger siblings, that he or she used to be a default successor of the parents, and therefore the parents would respect that elder child with eldermost child with due respect and care. So that automatically flows down. So that is the point I wanted to share. Yeah, someone has raised a question, please go ahead.
I'll maybe read out a couple of things that we have not answered. I think one was, what would you suggest for children above 15 years, which probably we did not cover fully. Or
Okay,
how do you
so
treat them as friend? Maybe we'll end with that
yes,
note.
yes. So when we talk about being friendly with them, so it is about I mentioned about giving them their agency, giving them the autonomy. So that is, it is always not good to keep the keys in the waist and all everything is ours. So succession planning is good for the 16-year-old child. They should not be treated as kids. The government will keep on changing the right marriageable age, adulthood, etc. See, government is trusting them at the age of 18, adult franchisee, that they can vote and decide who will be the chief minister and who will be the prime minister at the age of 18. And we are not trusting them with their own life. We are trusting them with their decision that who will run the country, but we are not trusting them with how they will lead their life. So it is about giving them the full autonomy and freedom and trusting them. Most important thing is the trust on the child, the emotional connect. And of course, if something is wrong, say it. So very genuine. So I have my 3 4 siblings also who are like from uncle, my family, our extended family. So I'm extremely clear with them that what is right and what is wrong, and because of which our relationship is very very crystal clear. So they know that whatever is wrong with us, he will very clearly say, and it's about full autonomy and freedom. And in fact, many times I suggest my elder members that let them do what they want to do. The government is fooling us by just shifting gears of their age. Why? And this new term Gen Z, Y, X, Z, teen, all these are absurd definition. There are only four categories as far as the phases of life are concerned. First is Bal Avastha, that is 0 to 5. Then there is Kishore Avastha. At the end of Kishore Avastha, their hormonal changes start, and then they are Yuva. And then there is Jara Avastha, that is old. So these are only the four categories. And there is one story, paucity of time, I will not go into that, of Arundhati, Vashisht and Arundhati, that first to this Balavastha and Kishore Avastha, they will be free of Kam, Vasna, etc. And as soon as they enter into Yuga Avastha, the hormonal changes start, and all those things that we see, that will happen. So they are into that phase and live them, and you also enjoy the sadhana of your own life, the adhyatma of your life. So in my book, there are two chapters on parenting and adhyatma, which I have not covered directly here, but it is there. So it is about the adhyatmic journey. So you are not just the parent, you are also an atma. Your spiritual journey and growth is also important. So one doha is there, Poot saput to kyon dhan sanjay, Poot kaput to kyon dhan sanjay, which means that if you have a child with the good deeds, why do you want to save money? If you have a child with bad deeds, why do you want to save money? So it is spiritual journey of the parent also needs to be taken care
Fantastic note to end the session, G. I think uh, many thanks for sharing. I think we have probably tried to address most of the questions. If we have left out any, I think I would strongly suggest two things. One, do go through Ankurji's book. I think it was extremely well articulated and we enjoyed reading it. So I think it is a treasure for all of us. You can look at one book I would suggest for parents in general. I think there was one question on resilience. There is also a book written by the founders of Anaadi, which is called Panchakosha Pathway, essentially giving you the framework that you can use to build resilience using Panchakosha as a framework, which is essentially a saram from taken from the Taittiriya Upanishad. So do go through, but I'm sure the Shastriya parenting has neat implementable things that all of us as parents can use. Thank you, Ankurji, pranams, and thanks for joining. It was all wonderful reflections. Parenting is probably the most important uh, leadership journey, apart from corporate leadership journeys that we keep talking about. The most important and most impactful leadership journey that you can do for yourself, for the family, and for the larger society. I think it is important that we all invest time in this. And many pranams to Ankurji for this session. And thank you all of us who have joined us for this session of Anaadi Samvada. We will meet you again in another session very soon. Ankurji.
Ji. Thank you, Nigamanth. And I think some people are asking about my book. So I have
Please.
asked my publisher to do it at a very low cost. So I don't have any aim to earn money out of it. So we aim to recover the cost of the book. And so the publisher is also in a very small town in a tehsil. So I got it published deliberately from there. I live in a rural area only. So I have talked to him that so as of now its price is 300, but we can do it at 230. So what I will do is maybe share a Google Form link with you, Nigamanji, and if you have the email ID or phone numbers of the participants, so they can order it through that. So it will be available on discounts. Else it is available on the Amazon, Flipkart, etc. Kinder version is not yet available, so I have to work on it. As I mentioned that, so I was working with a very modest publisher in a small place in it's a tehsil place. So I have to work on it. So you can get a physical copy from Amazon, etc. And soon, if it is available on Kindle, etc., so I will explore if what are the possibilities.
Sure. Thank you, Ankurji. We will all we'll send you all the numbers, and for all the participants, the recording will be available on YouTube. All your email addresses are with us. We will any session, deep dive session with Ankurji or others. I think there are a lot of requests to do a deep dive session. Ankurji will probably do a follow up session, taking maybe specific examples that parents can implement. We will all let you know your WhatsApp numbers if you have left with us. We will interact through that. Thank you again, everyone. Thank you for joining this edition of Anaadi Samvada. And thank you again, Ankurji. It was a pleasure hosting you and hearing you. Namaste, namaste, dhanyavada.
Namaste. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Anadi Foundation, Yogi ji and Smriti ji, Pranam and Nigaman ji, and all the members from Anadi and all the participants today. Namaskar.
Namaste.